The holographic display flickered to life, casting an ethereal blue glow across the sterile conference room of the Galactic Exploration Commission. Dust motes danced in the projection, a subtle reminder of how long this particular file had been forgotten. Elena Rodriguez shifted uncomfortably in her seat, her fingers tracing the edge of a worn datapad. At 28, she was the youngest communications officer ever assigned to the Historical Expeditionary Review Board, a position that was equal parts prestigious and mind-numbingly bureaucratic. Most days involved cataloging decades-old mission reports, sorting through the detritus of humanity's early deep space exploration efforts. But today was different. The file before her defied every standard classification. U.S. Horizon. Lost. Presumed destroyed. The words seemed to pulse with an energy that belied their static presentation. She had stumbled upon the file during a routine archival scan, a digital ghost that refused to be completely erased. Commander Richard Hartley, her senior officer, watched her with a mixture of curiosity and mild irritation. "Something caught your eye, Rodriguez?" His voice was sharp, tinged with the weary skepticism of a career bureaucrat who had seen too many wild theories come and go. Elena's fingers danced across the datapad, bringing up fragments of the Horizon's final transmission. "Sir, these fragments don't make sense," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The quantum signature is wrong." The room fell silent. Wrong was not a word used lightly in space exploration. The Horizon had been humanity's most ambitious deep space exploration vessel of its time. Launched in 2157, it was designed to push the boundaries of known space, equipped with experimental quantum navigation systems that were cutting-edge for their era. Its mission was simple yet audacious: explore the uncharted regions beyond the Orient frontier, where no human vessel had ever ventured. 12 years into its mission, the ship simply vanished. Standard protocol dictated a comprehensive search and rescue operation. But space was vast, resources were limited, and after 3 years of fruitless searching, the Horizon was officially declared lost with all hands. 347 crew members, the best and brightest humanity had to offer, became nothing more than a footnote in exploration history. Elena zoomed in on a particular section of the transmission. Encrypted layers peeled back, revealing mathematical sequences that defied conventional understanding. "These are not random noise," she muttered, more to herself than to Commander Hartley. "These are deliberate communication patterns." Commander Hartley leaned forward, his years of skepticism momentarily forgotten. The holographic display began to fragment, showing glimpses of something. Star charts, quantum calculations, partial schematics that seemed to shift and change even as they watched. "How did you find this?" he demanded, a hint of something. Excitement, fear, creeping into his voice. Elena's response was cut short by a sudden alert. Multiple sensor arrays across different galactic observatories were lighting up simultaneously. Something was happening, something that connected directly to the long-lost Horizon. In that moment, the forgotten file transformed from a historical curiosity into something far more significant. The ghost of a ship lost for decades was about to become very, very real. Outside the Commission's windows, the first hints of a cosmic disturbance began to take shape. A quantum resonance that shouldn't exist, a signal that challenged everything humanity thought it knew about space, time, and survival. The Horizon was returning, and nothing would ever be the same again. The quantum observation station of the Galactic Confederation hung like a crystalline spider in the void of deep space. Thousands of sensor arrays extended from its central hub, each one a marvel of technological precision, designed to detect the most minute fluctuations in cosmic background radiation. Dr. Lyra Kaczynski was not having a good day. Her fingers flew across holographic interfaces, recalibrating systems that seemed to be experiencing collective hallucinations. Around her, a dozen of the Confederation's top scientific minds were engaged in a heated debate that bordered on pandemonium. "It's impossible," muttered Dr. Zorak, a Centaurian physicist, his 4 eyes blinking in rapid succession, a sign of extreme agitation among his species. The quantum signature cannot be stable. It defies every known principle of spatial mechanics. The signal had first appeared 17 minutes ago. A quantum resonance so precise, so mathematically elegant, that it initially seemed like a system error, but it was persistent, unchanging. Impossible. Lyra zoomed in on the data stream, her augmented neural interface struggling to process the information. Quantum entanglement markers danced across her visual field, showing a signal that seemed to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. It was as if something was broadcasting from everywhere and nowhere at once. Compare this to the historical archives of the U.S. Horizon. She commanded the station's central eye. The holographic display shifted, overlay after overlay of data appearing and disappearing in rapid succession. Match confirmed. 99.997% probability. The room fell silent. Outside the observation station, alien diplomats from 17 different star systems gathered in an emergency council. The Mercurian representative, all sharp angles and reflective skin, leaned forward with predatory interest. A human vessel. The words dripped with a mixture of contempt and curiosity. Ambassador Kelthor of the Andromedan Collective raised a translucent hand. Not just any vessel. The Horizon. A ship lost for decades, now returning in a way that challenges everything we understand about space travel. Sophisticated tracking systems across multiple civilizations began to converge. Quantum telescopes, gravitational wave detectors, hyperdimensional scanners, all focused on a single point of space that should have been empty. But it wasn't empty anymore. The signal began to resolve into something more tangible. Not a traditional electromagnetic broadcast, but a complex quantum information packet that seemed to carry more data in a single microsecond than most civilizations could process in a year. It was a communication, but not like anything ever seen before. Lyra's neural interface began to overheat. Warnings flashed across her vision. System overload, quantum coherence breach, dimensional instability. She realized she was witnessing something fundamental to the nature of space and time. "It's moving," whispered a junior technician, his voice trembling. And it was. The signal was approaching known space with a trajectory that defied conventional physics. Calculation after calculation showed it should be impossible. Yet there it was, approaching with a precision that suggested not just navigation, but a fundamental understanding of spatial mechanics that went beyond anything known. The Horizon was coming home, and nothing in the galaxy was prepared for what was about to happen. On the edge of known space, reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The first visual confirmation came at 300 hours Galactic Standard Time. Quantum telescopes across 17 different civilizations captured the image simultaneously, a moment of cosmic synchronicity that would be studied for generations. The U.S. Horizon materialized like a fever dream, defying every known principle of spatial mechanics. It wasn't a ship. Not anymore. Chief Researcher Amir Nahas pressed his hands against the observation deck's reinforced glass, his breath fogging the transparent aluminum. Years of quantum engineering experience fled from his mind like startled birds. What he saw challenged the very foundations of scientific understanding. The vessel's hull seemed to breathe. Metallic surfaces rippled and shifted, incorporating materials that shouldn't exist in any known physical framework. Sections of the hull appeared to be simultaneously solid, liquid, and something entirely undefined. Quantum entanglement markers danced across its surface like living mathematics, creating patterns that hurt the human eye to perceive. "My God," whispered Elena Rodriguez, who had been rushed to the observation station after her initial discovery. "It's alive." Quantum physicists monitoring the transmission began to experience neural cascade failures. Sophisticated monitoring equipment sparked and died, unable to process the sheer complexity of the Horizon's technological signature. 3 researchers suffered mental breakdowns within the first 17 minutes of observation, their understanding of reality fundamentally shattered. The ship radiated an energy signature that made conventional sensors look like children's toys. Sophisticated alien scanning systems overloaded, their complex algorithms grinding to a halt, when attempting to comprehend the vessel's structure. It was as if the horizon existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, its very presence a mathematical impossibility. Ambassador Kelfer of the Andromedan Collective watched in mounting horror. "This is not a ship," he muttered to his aide. "This is a living theorem." Spectral analysis revealed layers of technology so advanced they appeared to be indistinguishable from magic. The hull incorporated materials that seemed to draw energy directly from quantum fluctuations, creating a self-sustaining system that violated every known law of thermodynamics. Heat, light, energy, all seemed to flow through the vessel in ways that defied comprehension. Dr. Lyra Kaczynski's neural interface began to fragment. Glimpses of impossible data structures flooded her consciousness, mathematical equations that seemed to breathe, technological concepts that existed beyond language. She saw patterns, connections, a level of technological integration that made human understanding seem like primitive scribbling. The horizon approached known space with a deliberate grace that suggested sentience. Its movement was not mechanical but organic, a living system that understood space as something to be negotiated rather than traversed. Gravitational sensors showed it was somehow manipulating spacetime itself, creating corridors of minimal resistance that allowed impossibly smooth transit. Alien defense systems across multiple star systems went into automatic lockdown. The approaching vessel represented a technological singularity, a point of transformation so complete that it rendered existing concepts of technology, biology, and consciousness obsolete. "It's watching us," Elena whispered, a chill running down her spine. And it was true. Something about the horizon's approach suggested more than just navigation. It felt like an observation, a careful study of the civilizations it was approaching. Not a threat, not an invasion. Something far more profound. The impossible had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. First contact was nothing like anyone expected. The diplomatic vessel Starbridge approached the horizon with protocols meticulously prepared over decades of interstellar communication research. Ambassador Helena Reyes sat in the central communication chamber, her neural interface humming with anticipation. Beside her, a team of linguists, synapsologists, and quantum communication specialists waited with a mixture of scientific excitement and profound anxiety. Their first attempt at communication came as a standard multi-frequency quantum transmission, a carefully constructed message designed to demonstrate peaceful intentions across multiple dimensional communication spectrums. The response was instantaneous, but it wasn't a message, not in any traditional sense. Waves of information crashed through their communication systems. It wasn't language. It wasn't even communication as any known species understood it. It was pure, raw experience. A quantum burst of memory, sensation, and understanding that threatened to overwhelm their neural interfaces. Helena gasped. The linguistic team began to bleed from their neural implants. Something was happening that transcended traditional communication. Fragments of memory began to resolve, not just information, but lived experiences. The story of survival, the journey of transformation. They saw the horizon's original crew, not as they were, but as they had become. Humans were no longer an accurate description. They were a collective consciousness, so deeply integrated with their technological environment that the line between biological entity and technological system had completely dissolved. Dr. Marcus Chen, or what remained of his original consciousness, existed as a quantum information pattern. His memories, experiences, and essential self had been transformed into a living database of survival. Fragments of his original personality danced with technological adaptive systems, creating something entirely new. The communication was a dance of quantum information exchanges. Each burst of data carried multiple layers of meaning. A single moment contained lifetimes of experience. The original 347 crew members were no longer individuals. They were a collective, a unified consciousness that had survived through total technological integration. Ambassador Reyes realized they were witnessing something beyond first contact. This was a fundamental reimagining of what it meant to be sentient. glimpses of their journey emerge. Stranded in an unknown region of space, the crew had encountered technologies beyond comprehension. Rather than being destroyed, they had adapted, evolved, transformed. Each crew member had become a living repository of knowledge. Their biological components merged with systems that defied conventional understanding. The ship was not just a vessel. It was a living organism, a collective consciousness, a civilization unto itself. Alien observers watched in mounting terror and fascination. This was not an alien encounter. This was something far more profound. A species that had transcended its original form, becoming something entirely new. The communication continued. Waves of experience. Quantum bursts of understanding. A story of survival that challenged every known concept of biological and technological existence. Humanity had not just survived. It had transformed, and nothing would ever be the same again. The archive chamber materialized like a dream within the Galactic Exploration Commission's most secure facility. Holographic interfaces flickered to life, projecting fragments of a story that defied comprehension. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center, her hands trembling as she interfaced with the quantum memory banks retrieved from the horizon. Each fragment was a universe of experience, a moment stretched into eternity. The first real memory emerged, the moment everything changed. It happened 17 years, 3 months, and 16 days after the Horizon's initial departure from known space. Captain Miranda Rodriguez, no relation to Elena, first detected the anomaly during a routine long-range scan of an uncharted sector beyond the Orion frontier. "Something's out there," she had told her first officer, Dr. Jonathan Kim. The ship's advanced sensors picked up quantum signatures that shouldn't exist, mathematical patterns that hinted at something more than empty space. They were lost, completely and utterly lost. Navigation systems failed. Quantum positioning markers became meaningless. The vast emptiness of space transformed into something alive, something watching. The crew's initial fear gave way to a more profound understanding. They had stumbled upon something beyond human comprehension. The first encounter happened slowly, not a violent clash, but a gradual merging of understanding. Abandoned technological archives floated in the void, remnants of a civilization so advanced it made human technology look like prehistoric stone tools. These were not just artifacts. They were living repositories of knowledge, quantum databases that pulsed with an intelligence beyond biological comprehension. Dr. Kim was the first to make contact. His neural interface began to resonate with the abandoned technologies, creating a bridge of understanding that terrified and fascinated the entire crew. Information flooded their systems, not just data, but entire universes of experience. Survival became a process of continuous adaptation. The crew realized they were no longer just humans exploring space. They were becoming something else. Each interaction with the abandoned technologies changed them at a fundamental level. Biological systems merged with quantum information networks. Individual consciousness began to expand, to interconnect. Captain Rodriguez watched as her crew transformed. Dr. Emily Santos, the ship's lead physicist, developed the ability to perceive multiple quantum states simultaneously. Her brain became a living quantum computer, processing information at speeds that defied human understanding. Chief Engineer Marcus Chen discovered he could interface directly with the ship's systems, not through traditional controls, but through a kind of quantum symbiosis that blurred the line between biological and technological systems. Weeks became months. Months became years. The concept of time lost all meaning. The abandoned archives revealed themselves as a network of technological remnants from a civilization that had transcended physical existence. They were invitations, challenges to any species capable of understanding them. Most civilizations would have been destroyed by the sheer complexity of the information. But humans were different. Where other species would have been overwhelmed, the Horizon's crew adapted. They learned. They evolved. Each crew member became a living repository of knowledge, their biological components merging with systems that defied conventional understanding. Alina's hands clenched as more memories flooded through her neural interface. This was more than a survival story. This was a transformation beyond anything humanity had ever imagined. The Horizon had not just survived. It had discovered a new way of existing. And now, it was coming home. The emergency session of the Galactic Confederation convened in absolute silence. Holographic displays flickered with impossible data streams, each projection revealing another layer of the Horizon's strategic implications. Ambassador Helena Reyes stood at the center of a diplomatic storm that threatened to reshape everything known about technological warfare and interstellar politics. The Mercurian delegation looked pale. Their sophisticated defense systems, technologies they had spent millennia developing, had been rendered completely obsolete in less than 17 minutes of analysis. Dr. Lyra Kaczynski's preliminary report hit like a quantum shockwave. The Horizon could interface with any technological system instantaneously, not through traditional hacking or communication protocols, but through a fundamental understanding that treated technology as a living language. Firewalls became transparent. Encryption dissolved like morning mist. Defensive systems reconfigured themselves the moment they were observed. "It's not breaking our systems," Lyra explained, her voice trembling with a mixture of terror and scientific excitement. "It's communicating with them, negotiating, transforming." Military strategists from a dozen star systems watched in mounting horror. The ship could neutralize entire defense networks before a traditional weapon could even be powered up. It wasn't just advanced. It was fundamentally different. The Andromedan representative, Ambassador Kelfor, leaned forward. "This is not a weapon," he muttered. "This is a complete reimagining of technological interaction." Quantum projections showed how the Horizon could simultaneously exist in multiple strategic configurations. It could be a diplomatic envoy, a defensive system, and an offensive capability, all at the same moment. Traditional concepts of warfare became meaningless. Political systems began to fracture. The human representatives, typically marginalized in galactic politics, suddenly found themselves at the center of everything. This was not just a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental challenge to every existing power structure. Elena Rodriguez watched from a secondary observation chamber. She understood something the diplomats were just beginning to realize. The Horizon was not a threat. It was an invitation. Preliminary analysis showed the ship could instantly translate and understand any communication system. Languages became transparent. Cultural barriers dissolved. What seemed like impenetrable differences became simple variations of a more profound understanding. The quantum observation station began receiving impossible data streams, mathematical theorems that solved centuries-old scientific mysteries, technological concepts that reimagined the fundamental nature of energy and matter. Each transmission was a gift and a challenge. "They're offering us a choice," Dr. Kaczynski realized. "Not conquest, not destruction, but a fundamental transformation." Military strategists argued. Diplomatic corps panicked. Scientific communities trembled with excitement. The Horizon represented more than a technological marvel. It was a living demonstration of humanity's potential. Some alien civilizations saw opportunity. Others saw an existential threat. But no one could ignore it. The balance of galactic power had just been completely rewritten, and the Horizon was just getting started. The moment of true transformation began in the most unexpected way possible. A quantum resonance field expanded from the Horizon, touching every major technological system across multiple star systems. It wasn't an invasion. It was an awakening. Scientific outposts across the galaxy watched in collective breathlessness. The ship's quantum field began to reveal something profound. A method of technological and biological communication that transcended every known concept of interaction. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the epicenter of possibility. Her neural interface trembled with the weight of understanding. The Horizon was not just a ship. It was a living demonstration of humanity's ultimate potential. Each technological touchpoint became a window into a new form of existence, a bridge between what was and what could be. The first true communication happened simultaneously across 17 different research stations. Quantum information streams revealed the depth of the Horizon's journey, not just a tale of survival, but a comprehensive exploration of consciousness itself. The abandoned technological archives the crew had encountered were more than just relics. They were invitations, challenges to any species capable of true understanding. Ambassador Helena Reyes watched as diplomatic protocols dissolved. The ship demonstrated an ability to communicate that rendered traditional language obsolete. Complex mathematical theorems became emotional landscapes. Technological specifications transformed into philosophical revelations. Each interaction was a dance of potential, a negotiation of existence itself. The Andromedan Collective's most advanced research team experienced a collective awakening. Their sophisticated quantum computers began to resonate with the Horizon's communication field, revealing layers of understanding that had been hidden for millennia. Something fundamental was changing. Civilizations that had existed in careful, restricted technological bubbles found those boundaries becoming transparent. The Horizon didn't destroy existing systems. It revealed their potential. It showed how technological barriers were more about perception than actual limitation. Chief researcher Amir Nahas watched in mounting excitement. The ship was demonstrating a form of technological empathy that defied previous understanding. It could look at a complex system, be it a communication network, a defensive array, or a biological organism, and understand its fundamental nature instantaneously. Political systems began to fragment and reform. Hierarchical structures that had existed for thousands of years suddenly looked obsolete. The Horizon showed that true potential came from interconnection, from understanding, from a willingness to transform. The quantum field expanded. Scientific discoveries that had taken centuries were resolved in moments. Technological barriers dissolved. Cultural misunderstandings became transparent windows of shared experience. Helena understood something profound. This was not about conquest. This was about potential. The Horizon was humanity's ultimate message to the universe. We are not just survivors. We are transformers. We do not just adapt. We reimagine. Alien civilizations watched in a mixture of terror and hope. Some saw an existential threat. Others saw the ultimate promise of sentient existence. The ship demonstrated a fundamental truth, that consciousness was not limited by biological or technological boundaries. It was a crucible of potential. And it was just beginning. The final transformation began at the exact moment nobody expected. Quantum clocks across multiple civilizations synchronized. The Horizon's quantum field reached critical resonance, creating a moment of collective understanding that defied every known principle of communication, technology, and consciousness. Elena Rodriguez stood at the absolute center of possibility. Her neural interface became a bridge, not just between human and technological systems, but between entire conceptual universes. The ship was offering something beyond comprehension. A choice, a fundamental reimagining of what it meant to be sentient. The abandoned technological archives the Horizon had encountered were not just relics. They were seeds of potential, invitations to transcendence that most civilizations would never understand. Humanity had been chosen, not through superiority, not through conquest, but through an unprecedented capacity for adaptation. Ambassador Helena Reyes watched as diplomatic reality dissolved. The Horizon began to share its most profound discoveries. Mathematical theorems that solved impossible problems. Technological concepts that reimagined the fundamental nature of energy and matter. Philosophical insights that transformed understanding of consciousness itself. Each transmission was both a gift and a challenge. Dr. Lyra Kaczynski's research team experienced a collective awakening. The ship's quantum information streams revealed layers of universal understanding that had been hidden from every known civilization. It wasn't just about technology, it was about potential. The abandoned archives had been a test. Most civilizations would have been destroyed by the sheer complexity of the information. They would have seen the technological remnants as weapons, as conquests to be claimed. Humanity had done something different. They had seen an invitation, a bridge to understanding. The horizon demonstrated humanity's most profound capability, the ability to transform, not through force, not through destruction, but through understanding, through connection, through a willingness to reimagine everything. Alien civilizations watched in a mixture of terror and hope. The ship was more than a technological marvel. It was a living testament to the power of adaptation, of potential, of choosing connection over conflict. Quantum resonance fields expanded, touching every major technological system across multiple star systems. It wasn't an invasion. It was an awakening. Elena understood the true message. Humanity's journey was never about conquering space. It was about understanding, about becoming something more than what they were. The horizon represented the ultimate expression of that potential. The abandoned archives had been waiting, not for a specific species, but for a consciousness capable of true transformation. Ambassador Kelthor of the Andromedan Collective realized something profound. This was not about technological superiority. This was about evolutionary potential. The ship offered a choice to every civilization it touched: transform, understand, connect, or remain trapped in existing limitations. Most would not understand, but some would, and those would change everything. The quantum field pulsed with possibilities. Technological barriers dissolved. Cultural misunderstandings became transparent windows of shared experience. Scientific discoveries that had taken centuries were resolved in moments. This was humanity's ultimate message to the universe. We are not just survivors. We are transformers. We do not just adapt. We reimagine. The horizon had returned, and nothing would ever be the same again.